When both watches come from the same company, use the same GPS system, run the same training software, and sit in the same category, it's about whether the Fenix 8 specific upgrades are worth the significant price gap over the Epix Pro Gen 2, which is still available new and is still an exceptional watch. This video helps you find the answer. The Garmin Epix Pro Gen 2 runs up to 2 weeks in smartwatch mode in real-world customer use, a battery life that already outlasts nearly every other wearable on the market. For most endurance athletes, 2 weeks is more than enough to cover any training block, any race weekend, and most backcountry expeditions without needing to plan around charging. The Garmin Fenix 8 extends that ceiling further. Garmin rates the Fenix 8 at up to 29 days in smartwatch mode and up to 84 hours in GPS mode. At 84 continuous GPS hours, this watch can track a non-stop multi-day race, an Ironman, a 100-mile ultra, a multi-stage mountain event, from start to finish without a charge. That is a ceiling that almost no competitive athlete will ever reach in a single session, but it represents what Garmin has achieved in the Fenix 8's power architecture, and it matters for the buyer who trains across weeks without reliable access to power. Edge, Garmin Fenix 8, on absolute battery ceiling. The Epix Pro Gen 2 is water-resistant and handles swimming, open water, and rain without concern. It is not dive-rated for scuba or apnea. The Garmin Fenix 8 carries a 40-meter dive rating with leak-proof metal buttons, certified for scuba diving and apnea diving with dedicated activity profiles for both. That certification is not a general waterproofing marketing claim. It means the watch was designed and tested for the pressure and environment of actual diving, with mode support that logs depth, dive time, surface intervals, and water temperature. For any buyer who dives as part of their outdoor life, recreational scuba, spearfishing, freediving, the Fenix 8 is the only watch in this comparison that can go underwater with them and track what they are doing there. The Epix Pro Gen 2 cannot. Edge, Garmin Fenix 8, uncontested for divers. The Garmin Fenix 8 includes a built-in speaker and microphone. Paired to a smartphone, you can make and take phone calls directly from the watch. No phone required in hand. The off-grid voice command feature lets you access watch controls by voice even without a smartphone nearby, which matters during runs or rides when reaching for a phone is not realistic. The Epix Pro Gen 2 does not have a speaker or microphone. Voice interaction requires the phone to be in range, and calls cannot be taken from the watch directly. For buyers who want the watch to function as a more complete standalone communication device during training, the Fenix 8 speaker adds a layer of hands-free utility the Epix Pro Gen 2 cannot replicate. Edge, Garmin Fenix 8, on hands-free communication and voice control. This is the most important category for the typical buyer watching this comparison, and the honest answer is that both watches run the same core Garmin training software. Hill score, endurance score, training readiness, morning report, HRV status, advanced sleep monitoring, wrist-based running power, strength training plans, sport-specific workouts, and advanced pacing modes are all present on both watches. Multi-band GPS with Sat IQ, topo-active offline maps, up-ahead navigation prompts, multi-GNSS support, also present on both. The athlete who buys the Epix Pro Gen 2 today gets the same training data, the same daily coaching signals, and the same navigation infrastructure as the athlete who buys the Fenix 8. What the Fenix 8 adds is real-time stamina tracking, a feature that monitors your energy reserves during a session and tells you how your current effort is affecting how much you have left. For athletes who pace by feel and want data to validate or challenge that instinct mid-race, stamina tracking is a meaningful addition. It is not present on the Epix Pro Gen 2 at the same level. The Fenix 8 also adds the ECG app for atrial fibrillation detection, a health monitoring capability beyond standard heart rate tracking that the Epix Pro Gen 2 does not include. Edge, Garmin Fenix 8, slight edge on real-time stamina tracking and ECG. Both watches run 1.4-inch always-on AMOLED displays with a sapphire lens and titanium bezel. The display experience is essentially identical, bright, readable in sunlight, smooth. Both include a built-in LED flashlight with variable intensity and strobe modes for night training. Both carry 32 GB of onboard storage. The Fenix 8 uses a stainless steel bezel and an enhanced graphical interface that surfaces data more clearly during dynamic activities. The physical build difference is subtle in daily use. The Fenix 8 is a heavier, more substantial watch that some buyers find communicates its premium tier on the wrist. Buyers who prioritize lighter carry will find the Epix Pro Gen 2's titanium construction a meaningfully lighter option for extended wear. Edge, even on display, Fenix 8 on graphical polish. Epix Pro Gen 2 on lighter wear. The Fenix 8 introduces dynamic round-trip routing, set your target distance, and the watch generates a route that gets you back to your starting point, adjusting in real time to keep you on schedule for the distance you chose. For trail runners who explore unfamiliar terrain and want variety without planning a route in advance, this feature removes the pre-session logistics entirely. The Epix Pro Gen 2's navigation is excellent but does not generate dynamic routes in the same automated way. Edge, Garmin Fenix 8 on dynamic route generation. At its current price, the Epix Pro Gen 2 delivers 95% of what the Fenix 8 offers for athletes who do not dive, do not need a wrist speaker, and are not chasing the absolute battery ceiling. The full Garmin training platform, every core feature, the same GPS, the same maps, is available at significantly less cost. For buyers who discover this comparison because the Fenix 8's price is beyond their budget, the Epix Pro Gen 2 is not a compromise. It is the same training tool at a lower entry point. The Fenix 8's price at retail reflects its position as Garmin's current flagship. At over $1,000 new, it costs more than many buyers need to spend to access everything Garmin's training platform offers. The features it adds over the Epix Pro Gen 2, diving, speaker, stamina tracking, ECG, dynamic routing, are real and well executed, but they are only meaningfully valuable for specific buyers. A runner who does not dive and does not need wrist calls is paying a significant premium for features they will never use. The Epix Pro Gen 2's capability, for that buyer, is not meaningfully lesser. The Garmin Fenix 8 wins this comparison, but the case for it is narrower than the price gap suggests, and that is the most important thing this video can tell you. The Fenix 8 wins on absolute battery life at 29 days and 84 GPS hours, dive certification to 40 meters for scuba and apnea, a built-in speaker and microphone for wrist-level calls and voice control, real-time stamina tracking, ECG for AFib detection, and dynamic round-trip routing. At a refurbished excellent price of roughly $770 or new at approximately $1,060, those additions have real value for the right buyer. The Garmin Epix Pro Gen 2 Sapphire Edition at $500 to $653 delivers the full Garmin training intelligence platform. Every core feature the Fenix 8 offers minus the dive rating, speaker, ECG, and stamina tracking. For any serious athlete who does not dive and does not need wrist communication, the Epix Pro Gen 2 is the smarter purchase. The training experience is equivalent. The savings are real. The Garmin Fenix 8 is the winner, for the buyer who needs what it specifically adds. For everyone else, the Epix Pro Gen 2 remains one of the best endurance sports watches available at any price. Both watches are linked in the description below. Check current pricing carefully, since the Fenix 8 in particular has both new and refurbished options at meaningfully different price points. So if you dive or need wrist calls, get the Fenix 8. If you do not, the Epix Pro Gen 2 saves you real money and trains you exactly as well. If you want more comparisons like this, then hit subscribe. This channel is here to get you the right purchase every time. Thanks for watching.